Welcome back to the Division 2. In this video I want to go through exotics, and I just think for the value you get from exotics it really isn't worth the grind, and what I've done is actually come up with some concepts of my own. Bear in mind, I'm not a game designer, I literally just have random ideas that come to my head. Some of them are going to sound stupid, some of them might sound cool, but this video is all for discussion and what you guys think as well as me. So let me know in the comments if there's some slight things you would change with my ideas, if you've got ideas of your own, and let's get into it. So the very first one, and this is like based off just literally random ideas because the balancing would be completely different, how you obtain the weapons would be different. There's a lot of different things, like a lot of changes that would need to take place if they were to ever be like that in the game. They obviously won't be. But just bear in mind, this is basic concept of how the guns and gear pieces could work. So starting off with the Bighorn, because it's called, like, they're all based off the name of the weapon or the gear piece, or as close to that as I could possibly think of. And the Bighorn is obviously related to a ram, and it mentions horns. So because it mentions horns, they're like sharp. You could apply bleed when you're using the weapon, or it could actually create, like, even if you couldn't see it visually in the game, it could create a trap and keep the enemy still for 5 seconds or something like that. With the Eagle Bearer, obviously an eagle is a type of bird, they fly really high, so something related to wind. There could be something like hitting cover that an enemy is using and it knocks them out of cover or something like that. With the Chameleon, even though this one isn't a performance change, you could have the bullets have tracers that change colour based on environment. Or you could have a colour change like True Patriot that applies different debuffs. So you could have green on your shoulder and it could decrease enemies' armour. You could then go to red and it boosts your damage and different things like that. With the Bullet King, it's the king of bullets. It's okay never having to reload, but you could have the perk apply to the whole team if someone's running that gun, or just something like that. And obviously, this is all based on PvE. I don't touch PvP, haven't done for months and months. Well, I say months and months. The last time I played was when there were a lot more God rolls dropping than intended, when Warlords first released, but other than that, I probably haven't touched PvP for a good few months. The Pestilence, it mentions the word pest, so when you're hitting an enemy, it will release the stingers, so when you're using the stinger hive, it will do that same thing, but you hit an enemy and those stingers that come out of the gun apply to all enemies within 5 meters of the enemy you shoot, or something like that. Lady Death, like this one, I don't even think this is good, but it's all I could come up with, and maybe they could do it faction based or something, but I've put down bonus damage to female NPCs, just because it's called Lady Death. Then moving on, we have the Chatterbox. Chatterbox means like you talk all the time if someone calls you a chatterbox, so give it something crazy, like a 2000 RPM, like something completely ridiculous. But increase the magazine capacity and stabilize the gun more so that it's actually, like, you're able to handle it with such a high RPM. The Merciless, the more enemies you kill, the higher the stack of bonus damage. I know some of these things don't seem unique, but if these weapons and gear pieces were to have these, those weapons would actually be unique. Like, it's not necessarily getting bonus damage that's unique, it's just because of the effect it actually has. So, like, the damage could be incredibly high. It's kind of hard to explain all of this stuff, but I do hope you guys are keeping up and understanding what I'm saying. The Ravenous, obviously Ravenous means you're extremely hungry, and it's a double-barreled rifle, that's unique itself, but they could have done it so that it was triple-barreled, because obviously even if it's not a realistic weapon, it's in a video game. So they could have done a triple-barreled rifle, and then when you fire from each barrel, it increases your teammates' stats. So if you fire and you're shooting from barrel number 1, it will increase all of your teammates' DPS. Number 2 does survivability, number 3 does skills. With the Diamondback, I would personally change the colour of the snake so that it's more diamond coloured, and the bullets should be dealing poison damage so that it represents the venom you get in snakes. With the Nemesis, deal like bonus damage, like crazy amounts of extra damage to the last enemy that dealt damage to you. Or if one of your teammates goes down, the enemy that downed your teammate has bonus damage dealt to them. With the Sweet Dreams, I would say do something like giving it crazy knockback. So if you don't kill an enemy with one shot from the Sweet Dreams, it sends them flying. I know again, some of this stuff isn't realistic, but it's a video game. Like, make some fun with it for PvE. With the Liberty, have stupidly high damage for that gun because it's taking liberties. With the Regulus, it's just a regular gun, but they could make it akimbo, so we're going to have dual-wield Regulus pistols. And then moving on to gear, we have Coyote's Mask. Coyote is a sniper boss in the Jefferson Trade Center mission, so do something that's going to hugely benefit sniper builds. With Acosta's Go Bag, you could apply permanent overcharge, and it could also apply other buffs to your skills, whilst you're keeping the bonus max capacity for your gear. So similar to how that one already works, but just buff it and make overcharge permanent. I'm going to keep saying that I want overcharge to be permanent, because I refuse to run a skill build until that happens. I don't like the idea of the 6 skill tier. I want overcharge and I want it for a long time, not just 15 seconds each proc. With the tardigrade, your armor roll applies to your whole team, so not just when your armor breaks, but your armor roll, and it has higher than anything else, so instead of a god roll of 170k, it could be 250,000 or something like that. And also, to bring it back into the game, I would put the Patience talent onto the tardigrade as well, because Patience was incredible for sitting behind cover, getting your armor back. It increased your survivability so much. There was no need for them to remove it from the game, but they did for whatever reason. With the BTSU gloves, they're support gloves. Allow players to equip a healing station as a skill. So in other words, buff the Restore Hive, maybe turn it into a box or something if you're wearing the BTSU gloves, and it will boost skill damage and repairs of your teammates, as well as dishing out like health so that it regens all of your survivability stuff, your health, your armor, so on and so forth. Dodge City Gunslinger's Holster allows you to equip 2 exotic weapons at the same time, and their buffs work whilst using the other weapon. So if you're running the Bullet King and you have the Chameleon in your second exotic slot, then whilst you're using the Bullet King, if you land 60 body shots, you get bonus damage. Like, you can have the talents work from both weapons when you have the holster equipped. Imperial Dynasty, all players get the same DPS stats, survivability stats, and skill stats of the highest player in the group, making the whole group OP all round. So to put a little bit more context behind the idea of that one, a dynasty is obviously rulers of a country. So if someone's got, say their overall stat was 150% weapon damage, and then you've got someone with 500% bonus armor, and someone in the group with 250% skill damage, everyone in the group would take all of those stats, so you would all have incredible all-round builds, not just spec'd into one type of build. With Sawyer's knee pads, Sawyer runs the theatre settlement, so running the knee pads would boost all stats by 50% to show they are a leader. But the last one is the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads. They represent a ninja, so you should be able to have an ability on them so enemies can't detect you until it's too late and they're being, I don't know, say you can melee kill them from behind, or you can sniper them in the face point blank, or shotgun them or something. But as well as that, you should have a lot of boosted movement speed, because you're a ninja. Ninjas are stealthy, they're quick. They literally get in, get the job done, get out, and they're never seen. And on that note, that is my crazy, I'm just going to say it's really out there. Some of them do sound a little bit stupid, but it's just ideas of things that could happen, like make the exotics unique. They need to have their own things to make it worth actually grinding for them, because right now, let's just say the Chameleon, that gun sucks. It's got a 50 round mag, but you need 60 shots to get the, I believe it's bonus damage for the chest. You basically have to hit enemies in the chest 60 times, and that then procs and you get bonus damage, or something like that. You're currently doing that with 50 rounds, and the gun's not very accurate. It just doesn't seem very good to use. You're having to grind with exactly the same drop rates across difficulties and stuff, but it's just a general sort of idea. And as I said at the beginning of the video, let me know your ideas in the comments. That is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.